Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. How's everybody? YouTube is blowing up. Hans, hello. How are you? Good to see you. Who do we got over here on YouTube? Juicy, Russell, GT Racer, 347. Hello from Green Bay. Hello, hello. Colin, hello. You got your pilot short? You made short work of that. See what I did there? You're okay, Hans? It looks like you're by yourself. Oh well. You'll keep yourself entertained, I'm sure. Others will. Let's see. Is there anybody else hanging out over there? We've got some other lurkers. So I appreciate y'all taking the day off with me yesterday. I had some training yesterday, and so I wanted to get that. I could have rescheduled it, but I'm already highly annoyed at this particular company, so I just said they gave me these options after I told them I didn't want to do afternoons. They said, "Well, how about 2 to 3:30? How does that work for you?" So I said, "Fine, that's fine. Let's just get it done, be done with it." And I actually learned a couple of minor things, so it wasn't a complete waste of time. Although sometimes it is fun to completely confuse these training people. We probably spent half the time trying to figure out an issue that I have with their software, and which is admittedly very robust. It is a very robust piece of software, and they can't get it to work the way it needs to work. So that was interesting and kind of fun all at the same time, because they're all pretty cocky about how great their software is, and I do love it. I do love it, but they can't get this to work, and they're wasting my time and my money trying to get it to work. So that's kind of funny. You'll be engaging conversation on your own, or you'll pester yourself enough to drive you crazy. Well, be careful. You might end up selling yourself some pens. Like the old joke about, Hans, I suspect someday it's going to be you and me, and we're going to be like the two old guys on the island. We're going to be, and you're a little bit younger than me, but not by much. And we'll be like the two old fogies over in the corner at a pen show selling off our collection. And what'll probably end up happening is we will both end up selling our stuff back and forth to each other. And somehow we'll both end up with coming home with more than what we came there with. And making money at the same time. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I have that in my head that's what's going to happen one of these years, like 30 years from now, 30 or 40 years from now. How's the weather here today? It's 30. What was it today? High today is 32. So it was low 30s yesterday. So we've got some snow melting. The roads are nice and clear, which I like. And that's good. That's good. Your desk set for Monday has grown to 5 sets as of right now. Wow. And Hans, you have your window open today at 65 degrees. I wish Lisa was going to Denmark now, because then I would totally be in the car. That's the kind of drive I would drive for. 65 degrees. You have a Bronze Age hill fort at the end of your garden. I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome. Nice. What else? Am I missing anything else here? You guys are entertaining yourselves. GT Racer, you're new here, so that's good. At least that I've seen in the chat. So welcome. Let's see. I'm not entirely sure exactly what we're going to do today. I've got I just like 10 minutes before we started, I got 4 very large boxes of stuff. I managed to get one box unpacked. It's basically it's all paper, so new paper and things like that that we'll be talking about. So Rhodia came yesterday or Monday, and I've got some Exacompta that came in today. So the white index cards should be hopefully up on the website by the end of the day, which is great. Those are super popular. In fact, I think we were probably one of the first people to bring them into the country, because I know we Exacompta used to sell their assorted color pack, and people would be like, well, that's cool, but it's fountain pen friendly, but it's yellow and blue and was there an orange? I can't remember. Yellow, blue, and green. You bought your first pack for me years ago at the Triangle Show, yeah. And so we asked him. We said, well, we looked on the. This was all Dave. So I think Dave looked and he saw, well, they make a white, but they don't bring it. They just don't bring it into the U.S. We emailed him and he said, well, yeah, we can import that in, but you got to buy it was ridiculous. I mean, it was like, I don't know if it was 100 or something like that. And so, okay, fine. We ordered it in and sold it out. It was pretty quick. And then a couple years later, and we just kept doing it. And they would say, okay, fine, you got to order 100 or whatever it is. And they finally brought it into the catalog. So I would like to think that we're partly responsible for that effort. But yeah, the 3x5s and 4x6s, which I don't believe we had before, are going to be in stock. We got some new ink. Shikiori came in this week, and hey, plain water. Yeah, we've got Tasha and Kyoto auto samples. We've had those actually for a while. Yeah. I still have some. There's still some Herbin samples that aren't up on the website yet. Those will be coming really pretty soon. And then Shikiori samples are going to be coming probably not this week. Probably a week to 2 weeks. Expect the Shikiori samples to be coming. Time to prepare an order. You hadn't noticed. Yeah. So lots of new stuff. We had to reconnoiter. I guess is one of my favorite words. Reconnoiter our shelves so that we could fit all the stuff in. And it's almost completely full again. So that's good. Let's see what else. What else is new? Trying to think what else came in. I know the retros are coming in. Those new cat rescue and dog rescue. They look cute. Those are supposed to be here today. So I don't actually physically have the tracking, but that's what Lisa told me. So if you were looking out for those, should be soon. And we discovered late last week that the new Lamy Uniball did not have us on their mailing list. So when customers are emailing asking, when are we getting the new Lamy All-Star Pine in, which is a great looking pen, by the way, a great looking All-Star. If you like the All-Stars, I was like, what? And so they finally got us on the mailing list. So we're a little late on that. Not too late, but we're a little late on that. I would suspect maybe end of the week. Aziza in the house. Hello. Welcome. How are you? Long time no here. How are things in the Great White North? So, anyway, lots of exciting things going on here. It is a party. And see, Hans, you said you were going to be the only one there. Come on. Thank you. Doing well. I keep missing your lives, but here I am finally. Yeah. And actually I was partly thinking yesterday, I'm like, you know what? I have so much stuff to do. So much stuff. For once, my daughter is actually ahead of me. She's done more stuff than I can keep up with. And so I got about probably I don't know, was there 6 or 7, 8 new vintage pens up on the website today, but there's a ton more to go, plus a ton of consignment that I've got to get up. So actually yesterday at the end of the day, I was kind of fried, and I said to Lisa, I said, you know what, I think I'm just going to cancel Wednesday. I mean, if we're only going to have like an hour on Monday and Wednesday, why are we even doing this? So, but here we are. I can't leave you guys hanging all week. You'll crush me on Friday during the podcast or something. So yeah, I almost didn't do it today, but it's okay. We'll get things done. All right, let's take a look at what we got on the bench today. I do have a couple things I have to get done here on the bench. Off work today. It's nice to catch us live. Hello. I can't even pronounce that. Hepatorescin. That's a really great name, whatever that is. I'm sure it means something. Hepatorescin? Did I pronounce that right? Well, I'm glad you're off of work. I wish I could say the same. I often say I wish I could just have if I could just have a couch here, I could take a nap and life would be great. I could work all day long. We got the touchdown here. We're gonna pick this up and try it again. So last time we tried it, the feed was still clogged. It seals. It just wouldn't suck any ink up. So that was that. We'll put this together. This is for Gabriel. If Gabriel's in there, Gabriel will be in touch. We got some breather tubes here. We'll try this on this guy, and we'll put this together, and we'll try it. And that's going to complete this tray here pretty much. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do after that. So I guess, you know what? I'm going to start with this. I'm going to get my hands dirty. Hey, Gabriel. I'll get there. I mean, I finally got around to some emails from Friday. So, I mean, I got caught up on all that. So, I mean, y'all know how it is. If you had to be productive every afternoon, that would be a real shame. Yeah, I know. Let's see. Is this going to fit in there? Yeah, that'll fit. That'll work out real nice. And this is that Teflon breather tube that I have. So we're going to actually, probably what we're going to do, well, we can do this at the same time. Yeah, I was really crushing it yesterday, man. And now I look out and I have a mound of paper, a packing paper on my floor. Holy cow. That I got to straighten out because I like to reuse it. You sent me some pic. Oh, yes. I did see her. I did see it. I didn't get a chance to reply back. Your salad spinner. That's a very interesting. I kind of like how you have the Velcro on there. That way you can kind of adjust for size. That's kind of neat. So that works pretty well. I don't really want to knock that out again. I think what we can do is we're going to put a little bit on here, squeeze it in, and we should be good. Oops. You know what? Actually, I'm going to do is this is going to be this repair is going to take forever. So I'm going to leave this because I want to make sure that this stays in place. We'll finish that up tomorrow. If that's solid in place, then we can cut the sack and then put that in place. You see someone set up a pen salad spinner with adjustable before. You picked up a Cross Townsend Medalist? Like, yeah, chrome with gold trim, right. Never ink, picked it up cheap. Interested to get your view on the pen. You're going to be constantly polishing the Medalist. Like, constantly. I like the Townsend. I think the Townsend's a nice pen. Nice gold nib. I'm a little cold on the Cross steel nibs. I don't think they're all that in a bag of chips, but they're fine. I mean, I've had them. I've had them on my site before. They've sold. I think they're relatively inexpensive. Move this. But the Townsend, nice pens. You got it for $100. Nice. Basically new, huh? Oh, you've got Gabriel's got one in lapis. Oh, that's a pretty pen. That's a pretty. So they made that in lapis and they made it in jade. Yeah, and they have a Pelican made 18 karat nib and feed. Yeah, and that's why they had different converters made for a long time, was because of the Townsend, of the Pelican made version. And I forget, if memory serves, that was, I can never remember the difference because one is threaded and one wasn't. Let's see. Having a hard time telling if that actually filled. Yeah, it's still got that feedback to it. Not crazy about it. You have the Cross Townsend in all gold. Yeah, if I was going to get those, I would get the jade and the lapis. And I want to say I've had a couple of the jades here in the shop before. McPenthusiast, hello. Welcome. You want the jade? Yeah, I think was there a third one in that series, or was it just the jade and the lapis? I'm envisioning in my head the old Cross ad that was in Penworld back in the day. There we go. So there was just one time that at the bottom was a little bit sharp. Okay, so right's better. We solved that problem. I didn't get a huge fill out of it, but maybe it's because my bottle is less than half full. My favorite were the Cross Peerless. I thought those were really the best pen. Of course, they use a Sailor nib, 18 karat nib. And it's big and chunky and heavy. There we go. Even the rollerballs are more spendy on eBay than last time we were looking. Hey, you know, all you need is the nib. Well, you know, they raised the price on the Peerless. It's on your Grail list. They raised the price on the Peerless earlier this year. And I looked at that and I distinctly remember the conversation. I had a conversation with my buddy Hans and I said, there's not a soul on the planet that's going to buy that pen. Nobody's buying that. I forget what the price was, like $1,200 or something like that. It was astronomical. It was insane. All right, now this won't fit in my new salad spinner, darn it, so I can't spin it out. Yeah, you could just swap the section. Yeah, you just need the nib unit. Yeah, you know. Good luck just getting that. I remember about the same time as when Mont Blanc had their they had a they have a jade and a lapis or just a jade. I can't remember. They had a jade, and my boss's son at the time had the jade Mont Blanc ballpoint or something like that, and I was a little jealous. It was kind of a nice looking pen. All right, we'll seal that up in a little bit. Let's do this guy here. So I couldn't afford the Mont Blanc, but I also could not afford the Cross. So, you know, I guess I was more likely to afford the Cross on what they were paying me. Well, this is a nice nib. This is a really nice nib. Kind of a medium-ish. Probably could be fine medium. I know they didn't make them that way, but depending on the paper. I mean, it's a medium on this paper. Okay, well, this one we could spin out. That'll be fun. But I can't just pick this up with one hand anymore. I got to reach over and get both hands because it's so heavy. And highly reflective. This thing is heavy. Holy cow. Boy, that seems really spins forever, doesn't it? Okay. Well, I might, bottle's getting a little low. That's blue. There we go. We're gonna start with the new bottle. And then when this one gets down halfway, we'll just combine the two. All right, so that guy is good to go. That one we'll do tomorrow. And we got to seal this up yet. And then this can go home. Oops, that goes in there. I think I got rid of my, oh, there we go. A little rag. If I didn't mention it, shameless self-promotion, new section sealant, the section sealant that we sell, I've just upgraded the jar on our section sealant. This is a Sheaffer factory thread sealant jar, apparently. But the jar that I use used to be plastic. I've just upgraded it to a really nice glass jar. So if you're thinking about getting some section sealant, it now comes in a great glass jar that you can, if you need to take your heat gun to it and blast it, you don't have to worry about accidentally melting the plastic. Not that it happened, but I like the glass better, so we upgraded to glass. So the all new section sealant that goes out is in the new jar. What's the schedule for these? Are you referring to the streams, or what are you referring to? You don't need another DB322 base with the ridges, but does $20 seems fair. Might pull the trigger to have another one for display. Where are you seeing it for $20? $20, I would buy it. I'd buy it for $20. Yeah, the streams. Okay, so repair streams. It's Monday through Thursday. Monday. It's basically 2 to 5, except for Thursday, which is 1 to 4. And Tuesdays I usually start about 2:15 because I've got lunch from like 1 to 2. So like 2 to 5 Monday, 2:15 to 5 Tuesday, 2 to 5 Wednesday, 1 to 4 Thursday, and then Friday we do our live podcast 1:30 to 2:15, whatever it is. So roughly around 2 o'clock every day. This week I've just been preoccupied with other things, so this is the last repair stream of the week. I've got some training that I have to do that's like, it lasts until 3 o'clock, and then I really can't get much done in an hour, so. That is entirely too much. You sent me a picture of a vintage Sheaffer that you bought. Would be super handy. You'll have to order one next time. Your plastic jars seem better days. Yeah, I just decided we could do better is what I decided. And I wanted to do better. I wanted to do right by people who buy it. So. And of course, it costs me significantly more. It costs more for me to get the glass jar than it does the plastic, but I'm not raising the price. So. I hope the glass container meets with everybody's approval. It's a little bit squatter, but it's a little bit taller, so it's, I think it's easier to get stuff in and out of. This one from Sheaffer is not exactly the easiest to use either, because now that I'm down this far, although it's my life goal to get through this jar. I mean, you could barely make out, the number 64 thread seal. I don't know if there's any other writing on here. It's been, I've used it for so long. Clean up the threads. The sack is in great condition except for the fact that whoever put a new sack in used white plumber's tape to seal the sack to the nib. Oh, that's crazy. I should have mentioned something to you, Hans, before I shipped your package earlier this week. Oh, well. If we've got any locals in the chat, we've got a pen club meeting this Sunday from 1 to 3. And it's going to be at the Pick and Save community room at the Pick and Save just off of 441. And if you don't know where that is, it's the community room is when you come in the front door. You go to your right and go all the way. Pick and Save, it's a great name for a store. Yeah. You go all the way to the far back right. You'll see stairs that go up. And then when you get to the top of the stairs, you kind of, you can't miss it. There's one room up there, and that's where we're at. Is it Pick and Save? Yeah, it's Pick and Save off 441. Email me if you have any questions. But we're doing an interesting, a couple interesting discussions. One of them will be on planners and getting your new year started out right. And the other discussion is going to be on various authors and what pens they used. So we're kind of splitting that up. I'm bringing 9, and our other club member Jeff has got like 10 or something like that. But I don't know what the presentation is. He just sent me the list of pens that he needed, and I said, well, yeah, I can help you out with 9 or 10 of these. So it seems pretty thorough. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. But that's going on this Sunday. So I had someone from Green Bay. I thought I'd mention that this Sunday from 1 to 3. You have to chuckle at the names of some grocery stores out of state. Piggly Wiggly. Yeah, Pig. We have a Shaw's and a Hannaford store. Yeah. So the Pick and Save used to be Cops, COPPS, Cops. So I'm going to Cops. But it's now Pick and Save because Pick and Save bought out the Cops franchise. So yeah, there we go. All right, those are good. Wow, I only killed 45 minutes yammering on and fixing those. I guess we can work on these, huh? We started these a long time ago. I do actually have to look before we do that. I'll get back to these in a second. Oh, people are emailing me here. Hang on. Oh, Russ, yeah, that's a nice ebonite pearl balance. Very nice. I love those. Yep. And let's see. I saw Gabriel had sent me a. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, the 322 double. Yeah, it's a little worse for wear. Missing the felt. Do I need that? Do I need that? He says. Um, you bought the other one? Oh, you did. So there's two, huh? Um, I might have found one in a box. I might have one in a box. I'm gonna have to look tonight. Thank you for that link, though. I don't know. Maybe I need one. I got to finish my list. See, my list is started, but not complete. So speaking of lists, I got to write a list here. What is that? You hope someone brings Esterbrook 313 probate pens to represent historian Shelby Foote. All I have on my desk here that writes is a pencil. I'll check the list. Oops. Wow. Do I have a 313 probate? Yeah, man, that's gonna be like that's gonna be like find a needle in a haystack. Okay, so having a picture of it helps. Yeah, let's see. Wow. Okay, so it's kind of stubbish. Yeah, I mean it's a 313. Um, Thank you for that. I'll add that to the list. Yeah, I don't know. What's interesting is there is a whole like I say, there's got to be 20, 25, maybe even 30 different pens on this list. But the list that I got sent does not include who wrote with them. So the first pen on the list, of course, is a Conklin Crescent, and so I emailed back and I said, well, if a Conklin Crescent for sure is Mark Twain, I said also note that he actually also advertised for Wirt too, so we got to add a Wirt to the list of pens. And interestingly enough, coincidentally, the gentleman that's giving the talk, who's more of a modern, actually more of a kind of like a jotter collector, actually has a Wirt in his collection, which he's been trying to sell me for a while. And I think maybe I ought to just buy the damn thing from him. It doesn't have a nib, but anyway. So what do I have in front of me? I've got some Sheaffer cartridge pens, some school pens, and I just kind of need to take a real quick inventory of what I got here. That's garbage. Somebody was interested in reliving their youth. So there's 3 distinct styles. And so I'm just going to quick do this. Well, that's not really a school pen, is it? All right, so I mean they're decent enough pens. This is the wrong cap. This is the wrong cap for this pen. Well, I can make one. That's all I care about. Good nibs, steel nibs. Avocado, look at that. I promised the person I was going to look at these for him, and oh, at least I got a list for him. Thanks for reminding you need to try threading one of those for Estabrook nibs. All right. That's my little note for later. All right. That would be a good pen for that. Make it an eyedropper filler. All right. These three have been soaking. We'll get to those in a little bit. But I think we can sack the rest of these and then come back to this. This 45 I need a nib for. So let me grab my 45 nib box. That one will probably work. Yeah, I really like those 322s. They're pretty sweet. And what do they call the single? The 113? Was it the 113? 112, 113. Yeah, I think it was the 113. Well, that'll work. That'll work on there. Oh, and I need a ring. Well, I had the box out. And it's really interesting that they actually made both of them at the same time. So they made a 113 and a 112. At the same time. There are actually a couple different styles of 45 clutch rings. Both will probably work equally as well, but here's Here's the long and short of it. See if I can get this focused in here. So there are two kinds. One, you might see that little bump there. So this one will have 3 bumps on it. Or does it have 4? Yeah, 3. It's got 3 bumps. To help the cap sit. And then there's a kind of a more plain version that doesn't have the bumps. So this one, this is the original, which is pretty grody, but it's got the little bumps in it. So that's what we will do. Cap is nice. Now we got a working pen, or at least hopefully a working pen. All right. What a disaster this pen is, huh? That nib looks good, though. I don't think we want to mess with. We'll just use that. This is the feed that was in there. All kind of warped around. Just kind of do that. It's going to end up in the part spin anyway. So, 15 and 16, 18, something like that. The cracked ring can be solvent welded? You repaired one on a 113. Really? That's kind of perfect. I think I can do bigger on that. What kind of solvent did you use? I probably have some sitting around here we can try. They're either held in by a metal clip or glued in, depending on the base. I don't think I have one here. Let's see. I think any of the ones that I have, I might have at the house. So you remove the clip, or they're glued on. Then do you just take like a, is it glued to the glass? Oh, 10X 7 replacement. I think Ron Zorn has told me about that. Ooh, excuse me. All right. Should probably write that down. I probably should get some of that. I would have to double check if that's what. Oh, oh, I got the feed in the. I think the feed's in my ultrasonic. The glue is just gobbed in, so I had to heat it up to work out plastic receptacle. Before anybody asks, I did watch Doug's test set video last night. I think it was last night. Not hardly enough Esterbrook's in that. Ever use mech? Yeah, I don't really. I haven't really gone down that road. Dichloromethane. I've got some notes. From Ron. All right, let's get these. Let's check to make sure I have a a feed in here. It might be in here. There's a feed in there. If you use too much mech, the fumes will soften and distort surrounding plastic parts. That sounds like sage experience gained by experience. Well, I hope this nib writes. Well, this whole thing is kind of ugly. I think before we can kind of smooth that out. Let's fix that. So there's a good point. If you're using dichloromethane, you would be sure to wear a respirator. It's very close chemically to chloroform and is very volatile. Maybe more so than mech, but probably easier to control. Yeah, you don't need to be inhaling too much of that stuff. Well ventilated. It's probably time for new. You had fans and windows open. Okay, good. Probably time for new micro mesh here, but I'm not going to go too nuts. This whole pen is kind of a good user grade quality, but I want it to look nice. Already looks better, but want to be careful on a surface like this that you keep it flat, because other words, if you rock, you'll end up wearing down the sides unevenly. Better. There's a pretty deep scratch in there, so I don't think we're going to get that one out, but can at least. I'm going to skip a few grits here. You got the PFM polished up, need to assemble and test the weld. Okay. Sounds like it was successful. All right. That's much better. It's not perfect, but there's still that little scratch right there, but 3 weeks, huh? Well, we'll give that a shot. I don't know how much faith I have in that nib being good, but just make sure these are cleaned off. Time's up for you, Juicy. All right, have a good night. Don't do anything too crazy. I doubt it. Don't need to do anything with the 45. Huh? It's like this Sheaffer is going to be probably really good for Indy. Indy in there? You're going to like this one. Looks like an extra fine. You don't think the pen had been used since the last time the new sack was installed and flushed out clean? Well, that's good. You find all sorts of weird stuff when you repair pens, that's for sure. Not the first time I've seen plumbers tape used. Ebonized pearl is definitely one of the prettiest. Those are good. What do we want to try first? Skyline? Let's try the Skyline first. Oh, I didn't even need heat for that. You'll be back in a bit. You'd hope you don't miss on anything fun. Well, That came out without a hitch. And there's what's left of the sack. There's still some left in there. They use it to keep the section in place. Yeah, shellac will be fine. And if you have to, build up the shellac, let it dry, and then come back to it. All right, well, that's nice. That came apart. Wasn't expecting it to be that easy. This one still has ink in it. So the number 3 on the nib stands for, well, it's just the size nib. It's a real... So Sheaffer would have had, 3, 5, 7. Actually, there was a 23, a 33. So number 3 would have been one of the smallest. Boy, this thing is... Well, now we're getting some ink out of it. You can still see the purple in there. Maybe we'll get lucky and this will come right off. I think what I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to spin the water out because I'm still going to make a mess here. I mean, I don't want to make any bigger mess than I have to, so. Oh, at least I won't get too much ink on my hands. There we go. How blue do we think this is going to be? Woo! I'm still getting a little resistance. Look at that nastiness. Super chrome, maybe? Yeah. Oh, you're giving me money? On top of the box. My wife just came in with money. Sure. All right, we'll deal with that in a bit. Spin this out here. It's great. Selling? You know how much it costs to ship this? Okay. You're not supposed to kiss me. Yeah, once you get this thing up to speed, I think it becomes a little easier to. And I think the trick is to push it down and lock it in place. I do kind of like that break on there. That's really kind of, I didn't think I was going to like it. I thought, well, that's just kind of the stupidest thing ever. Well, not the stupidest thing ever, but like, I don't need that. but I do need it. It spins forever without the brake. Yeah, I know. Good afternoon, Vlad. How are you? It's really well designed. I don't know if this, I have my doubts on if this is coming off. Oh, my doubts that it's coming off, and it just just spins right off. All right, well, it was good to take a couple days off from those, I guess. Nice, clear. Okay. I can think of a lot of very stupid things that have occurred in the past year and bit that exceeded the demonstrated level of stupidity. I think have occurred in the past year and bit that exceeded the demonstrated level of stupidity. Something didn't type well there, I think. All right. In a bit that exceed the demonstrated level. Yeah, okay. I get it. Yeah, so this feed is cooked. Or this breather tube is cooked. That's not going to do any good. Yeah, it's actually on the side. But if I pull it out now, I can clean off this. And then get it back in the ultrasonic. There's a bunch of sack goo. I hope that's sack goo and not like a dead spider. You don't need any more spiders on this channel. Hey, we got a subscriber. Agnophenis. Finis. Thank you very much. What's wrong with spiders? You obviously didn't see the episode where a spider ended up being on my bench. All right, so this nib and this feed came right out. which is just fine. I am gonna kind of try to keep it together in the section so that I don't have to hunt around for it in the ultrasonic. No, there was a spider that I saw, and then I don't remember how big he is, but of course, as you recall things, they start out like this big, and then by the time you tell this tale, they're huge. I mean, it was the size of the bench. And he came at me a little faster than than I think I wanted. Experience a little arachnophobia, yeah, acrophobia, yeah. Yeah, they're fine as long as they stay outside and away from me. So I actually I've grown to appreciate spiders and their role in the ecosystem. I used to hate them. Yeah, I went screaming. Yeah, Russell was there. I went screaming right out the door on screen. It wasn't like a little girl scream or anything, but it was, yeah, it was huge and very, thank you. You're such a good friend. It was a dire threat. Yeah, I mean, it was big enough, but yeah, so I just, nowadays, as long as it's not, like the one time I was on vacation and Lisa and I were enjoying a cup of coffee and a pastry at a coffee shop up in Door County, and we were sitting outside enjoying the weather, and then all of a sudden Lisa looks at me and her mouth just closed as this huge spider comes slowly dropping down onto my. It was poisonous. It was, yes. You got bitten by a huntsman spider overseas once. It was never going to kill me, but yeah, you could have lost the arm. That's terrible. You've been told that you were never more than 3 feet away from a spider. I would not disagree with that. I'm sure that's correct. But if we didn't have spiders, we'd have a whole lot more bugs and flies and all that other jazz. Well, I got all sorts of weird stuff in here. So, yeah. Oh. I can actually see there's a little piece of, see that dark piece there is actually something. What I need to do is get my little needle filler out, and I can get down at the bottom. That piece is going to come out, and then this will be really pretty clear. So yeah, if as long as spiders and I have this agreement, what do I do with that? If I see them in the house, I'm not gonna worry too much. I realize there are spiders that are good for the house and some that don't live outside, and I get all that, but if I can, I will escort them outside. If they are within my body space, they are, they're plotting your demise right now. Yeah. Then all bets are off. But if you're doing your thing in the corner of the room and you're taking care of bugs or whatnot, good on you. Keep at it. I'm going to leave you alone. Because there's no sense, and Glenn's right. I mean, they're probably everywhere. Although we might as well bring up the topic now. We should mention that rumor that we eat 6 spiders in our sleep at night, in our lifetime is really was an internet thing to see how far rumors would spread. Now, come on, get out of there. I got it freed from the end of the... It's going to come out in one big chunk, I hope. I really need that needle filler. I just don't know where it is. Oh, you know where it is. Maybe. Nope, not in there. You know, I sell the things. I ought to just go grab one, but... Yeah, it was a deadly, deadly spider. I'm sure of it. Only 3. Yeah. Only 3. It's still in there. Well, where did it go? That's too big. Well, we'll keep working on that. Do I want the reference page? There are 7 deadly spider species in the U.S. Do I want the reference page to read up on deadly spiders? I don't know. No, I don't really want that. I used to live in Florida, so I was familiar with a couple of them. I never saw a black widow or a brown recluse while I was in Florida. Although I did see the cousin to the black widow, I saw a brown widow. Which was in my bathroom, I think, if I recall correctly. That was an exciting day, let me tell you. So there's still a floating chunk in there. So maybe we'll just let it sit and maybe it will slightly dissolve. Setting that may result in a ban from chat. Yeah, that is an entire possibility. As long as they don't get into my personal space, they're fine. Um, if they need to go, then I will, try to get the old piece of paper and kind of, scooch it under them. And if it's summer or whatever, I'll find them a home outside. But that's the extent of my what I want to do with those guys. And I'll tell you tomorrow if I have any if I have any nightmares tonight about spiders. Of course, I would have to sleep. That would be a prerequisite. All right. And I do find some beauty in some of the different spiders and the webs they make, but like orb weavers and things like that. We still got a little purple in here. I think I'm gonna dump the whole thing in that. This is nice and clear. That one looks good. I tell you, Walt Eversharp gets the award for the most space age looking feed ever. Which Harry Potter movie had the spiders in the Forbidden Forest? Oh no, we're not going. We're not going. No, thank you. Yeah, Juicy missing out, man. See what happens? Oh, now this is what you want to see on a nib. Let me polish this up. Wow, cool. Where did I find this pen? Heading off to the gym. All right, Gary. See you later. You sent me an email. All right, take a look at it. I need more room. Let's. These out of the way. This is black. This is a cool nib. Spider isn't the worst thing you could find in your bath in Florida. Well, I mean, I'm not like Snakes don't scare me. If I saw like a snake in the house, I might, I'd be startled, but spiders are just creepy looking. They're just creepy looking. You're living your pen restoring life vicariously through me right now, as I have neither the pens nor the experience to tinker with pens. Just the one Parker Vacuumatic that I somehow managed to DIY, replace the ink sac 4 years ago, but I'm now terrified of taking it apart again. Yeah, did you take it? Please tell me you had a Vacuumatic wrench. Not a requirement, but a real strong suggestion anyway. We'd have to go back quite a ways. I don't think we have the day that I had the Vacuumatic Maxima that somebody took apart with the vice grips. That was fun. Alright, so I'm just cleaning this nib up. I'm going to show you what this nib says. You did not. You did not have a vac wrench. Now you can make one out of you managed it somehow. It could have been loose. Occasionally you see that and you can just twist it out. But yeah, we had somebody who took apart a lockdown filler with the vice grips. It didn't go well at all. And of course it was an oversized lockdown. Which is not impossible to find, but it wasn't easy. So I want to see if I can focus in on this. What does that word say there? Beneath the section, does that say flex? Ironically, it seems fairly firm. It seems more soft than anything else, but. All right, so we're going to need a breather tube for that. I'll have to get one of those. It fills and doesn't leak, so I'm just going to let it be. Yeah, that's right. If it works, it works. Now, I probably wouldn't, I might not put it in a white shirt. I have a white shirt story. I haven't told in a while. It's just kind of funny. I went down to Georgia once. It was a quick down and back. Fly down, drive back. Bought some pen stuff. I took one shirt. It was summer. It was hot. I figured, you know what? It's, I'm going to be in the car. It's not going to be a big deal. It's time for me to toss this solution here. It's kind of grody inside. It's making things worse. And I had a white short sleeve shirt and a white undershirt. And I had one pen with me. It was a Retro 51. And a thread from the inside of my pocket got inside the nose cone of the Retro and sucked all the ink, like all the ink out of the refill and into my pocket. And so I get there and I'm making the deal. And like Lisa looks down and it's like, what happened to your pocket? I'm like, oh, son of... It was one of my favorite shirts too. It was pretty much a lost cause. Do I have any more? I know a guy though that's got some Dr. G's, so maybe I can. I'm actually almost out, so I'm gonna have to. So one Parker desk set that is on its way with no pens I would need to get pens for, and an Esterbrook desk set that has ballpoint pens that I will need to replace with fountain pens. Okay, so now what you have to be careful of depending on which Esterbrook set it is, it may not take fountain pens. So, which is it a double? What is it? If it's a recorder, one of those flat ones that looks like it's just the top of a 444 Feedmatic dipless, you won't fit a fountain pen nib in there. There we go. Well, that nib needs some help. All right, so I'm going to dump that back in there. You've got a desk set coming this week, the 2140. Well, hey, let me look that up in the master list here. Do I have that somewhere? Where did I have that in? Oh, there we go. Esterbrook desk set master list.xls. 2140. I think that's the Onyx, black Onyx base with the chrome trumpets, right? Uh-oh. For some reason, I'm gonna have to check my my file didn't save, and that's gonna stink. Let me look at this again. Oh, there we go. Whew! I opened it up and there was only half the lines in it that there was before. 21, what did you say? 2140. Oh, the medallion series in jet. Is it in jet or is it azure or is it in lime? Because I think they're all the same number. I have to check. I think I've got an azure in a box somewhere. And probably a lime. But yeah, that's the big. It's huge. It's huge. Yeah. Ah, Russell, you sent pictures. All right, let's see. Let's see. Oh, the Sheaffer, yeah. That looks like a... Okay, yeah, Parker, yep. Oh, the top one's... Well, the top one's not an Esterbrook. So if it has Esterbrook pens in it, then... Yeah, those trumpets look more Sheaffer than anything else, but the rest of it looks a little different. Oh, the listing says black. The pictures look baby blue. Yeah, so it'd be the azure if it's the blue, and it would have. This is heavily discolored, but this would be the correct pen. This is more the color. That's azure. This you might be able to polish off a little bit, but you're feeling they base calling it because of the pens that were in it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's neither Esterbrook nor. Although that one might be a Sheaffer. Those might be Sheaffer trumpets. It's hard to say. Guys, here's a better one. This is a better Azure. This is actually really quite nice. So, pick measurement. Yeah, the 2140 is a nice. That's a nice. It's big though. It's like that big. It's huge. Um, you got an Eversharp Flex nib and a Frankenpen. Nice. They can be really nice if you're into that thing. So my Octanium nib is pretty rough here. Yeah, I gotta hurry up and finish this stinking list of mine because I there's a couple of desk sets on eBay that I'm really interested in at very good prices, and I need to, if I don't have them, I need to have them. Maybe not really, but you have a Sheaffer desk set coming with pens, which you can try in the other sets. Yeah, I mean it looks pretty late, so like I would think um Imperial, like try an Imperial in there. If that's what you're getting. It might not be Sheaffer at all, so who knows. So Colin, are you and Colin and Gabriel, are you guys bidding against each other on desk sets on eBay now? Is that what's going on? Yeah, sometimes you get sellers that they don't and it similarly happens to me. You're listing, 50 things and you just, you copy the description from one and you modify the color and the nib and whatever. Happens to the best of us. The photos were the Azure set. Yeah, I hope it's Azure. I mean, it's the prettiest. The lime green's nice too. The green is nice, but the Azure is outstanding. It's really very pretty. Very pretty. All right, how we cooking in here? So that purple might be. I don't know if you can see this. There's stuff floating around in there. This is all from this 51. Seller said they were having trouble changing the listing title. Okay. I didn't see it come out. Oh, it didn't come out. It's in there still. You can get a Q-tip all the way in there. It's just really hard to get it in. And there it is. I think that's the majority of it broken up. Got me in the eye. Okay. We got octanium nib. This is a special, huh? Yep. Okay. That looks better. I think I'm going to let that sit till tomorrow. A little bit of build up here on the nib. Well, I don't know, Russell. I don't know if that's a, I guess I'd have to see the refill. I don't see the typical marking where the imprint would be for an Esterbrook ballpoint. I wonder if it's a ballpoint refill. Because they, in that band, that barrel band doesn't look right to me. Oops. I think this black 51 is going to turn out all right. All right, let's see. Very quick look at the barrel, and you can see white dots, but close up there, just scrapes on the pen. Yeah, they're not Sheaffer. I did the nose cone marking is different from what Esterbrook ever did, so I don't. And if memory serves, Esterbrook. Well, I'd have to check. Esterbrook didn't use nose cones on their ballpoints. It looks like an inexpensive ballpoint test pen that you might have found. I'm going to step away for a second. I got to get a breather tube. I will be right back so we can get this cooking. So that's going to fit, but we're going to have to shellac this in. And before we do that, we're going to have to cut it. to length, which means I need a sack. All right, so I'm going to cut the sack first. So I know how long to cut the breather tube. And for now, I'm just going to dry fit this on there. That goes in about that far. And ideally, you want it as long as you can. Sorry, I got that off screen. Yeah. So I'm holding onto it where this sits. In the section. Then I insert this. What? I'm going to cut it down here. Yeah, I'll pull that off so don't forget that it's not shellac down there. That would suck. All right, so we're going to let that sit haphazardly here in the tray. And honestly, I think I'm going to redo the other one. It's way too short. Is Lisa going to let you have next Monday off? Did the schools there take next week off? No. No, I don't have my calendar with me. What is what does it look like here? Pull up my calendar. No, no. Nothing cooking here. It's work as usual. Let's see. Do I have a Parker converter? I haven't had kids in school and I don't know how long. We'll do it this way. This will turn out to be a nice 45. All right. I think I'm about done here for today. Just gonna kind of attend to a couple of these spots on the filler here. We'll leave that fun for tomorrow when I can clean this up and get this. This is gonna go away. This doesn't need to be here. And that was new, and that's my threads. That's my end of the barrel. Oh well, we gotta put an O-ring in here yet. Yeah, we're not nearly done as far with this as I thought. That'll work. Well, we need an O-ring. Let's just do that, and then we can call it a day if I can find my O-ring tools here. It threaded in nice, but there's a considerable amount of dirt and schmutz in here. Oh, this was that. There we go. Metal washer that didn't want to sit flat. It was a little stiff. A little bit of shrinkage in there, but Waterman Black and the Sheaffer you just cleaned up. Select the section, writes fine. Great. This blind cap's got a lot of dirt in those ridges. I got to kind of go all the way around. Oh, shoot, that little ring just dropped on the ground. Now the trick is to find it before I step on it. Y'all will do this about 1,000,000 times in your life. I have no idea where it went. Although sometimes I have to check my pockets in my thing here because sometimes the parts land in there. But I heard it hit the ground. Well, you got to run, Hans. All right. Have a great night. I will, worst case scenario, I'll grab another one, but a little bit of friction, but I think it'll work. It's on the ground somewhere. All right. With that being said, I think I'm going to call it a day. I've got a mess, big mess to clean up, and I got some inventory to receive. Some paper and stuff, and find homes for it on the shelf. So I'm going to do that and get out of here at 5. So that'll be good. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for joining. Tomorrow again. And I'll try to remember to set it in Twitch. I should do it right away. But there will be no stream tomorrow. But there will be a podcast. Good night from the UK. Thank you so much. There will be a podcast on Friday at 1:30, the normal time. So no repair stream tomorrow. We'll be back at it again next week on Monday. Should be no problems. And let me just double check. Yeah, I don't have any obligations at all next week. So next week we should be back to a regular 4-day schedule. So, all right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great evening, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you podcast on Friday. See you later. Bye now.